Strapped South Africans are finding their wallets are emptying quicker. That's according to the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group's latest Household Affordability Index. It says consumers are paying nearly 5% more for a basic food basket compared to 7 months ago. Well, the program coordinator, Mervyn Abrams, joins us this morning to talk more about their findings. Mervyn, good morning. Thanks so much for your time. What is it that you actually found in your survey?
So good morning, Uveka, and good morning to all your viewers. Our survey shows that over the past 7 months, a basket of 43 basic foods for a household of 7 had increased by 4.8% or 183 Rand 22 cents, and now stands at 4,039 Rand and 56 cents. Uveka, this is way above the national minimum wage, which for the month of March would have brought in to a wage earner 3,817 Rand. And this at a time when petrol prices are increasing and the price of electricity has also increased by 15%.
So where did you get your data from, Mervyn? I suppose, many of our viewers might be wondering, okay, that's if you shop at sort of what we kind of recognize as more upmarket places, where goods are guaranteed to be a little more expensive, or are we looking at just basic stuff here, basics that people just need, to just put stuff on the table to feed their families?
Yes, so it's very basic foods, Rebecca, and we track our data from stores where low-income households tend to shop at. And our data is tracked throughout the country: Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Pietermaritzburg, Springbok in the Northern Cape. So it's fairly reflective of what low-income households pay. And what we have in our basket are goods such as maize meal, rice, sugar, cooking oil, onions, potatoes, curry, salt, etc. So it's a very basic kind of foods, and this is the picture from across the country at stores where low-income households tend to shop.
Are you able to pinpoint the reasons for the increase in goods? I mean, obviously we're going to think, okay, COVID, pandemic, lockdown, but is that necessarily a reason for goods to be increasing?
So that was the reason about 8 or 9 months ago in March, April and May. We saw blockages of global supply lines, and that did influence the prices. But since September, we believe that the supply lines are quite open and food is flowing freely.
Yeah.
So the increases could be ascribed to increases in input costs. So we're talking about increasing prices of fuel, for instance. That is a major input cost. And we suspect that it is about profiteering at retail levels to make up for losses suffered in other areas earlier on in the year.
So how do we fight the cause of the consumer, Mervyn? What do we do with this? Who do we take this to say, we need to figure out a way to make it possible for people to feed themselves and their families?
So, I mean, there are a number of things. I mean, firstly, the problem about hunger in South Africa is not a new phenomenon. It is a structural feature of life in South Africa over the past 20 years. So we have to look at the structural implications of it. And one of that is the very low, historically low wages given to low-income earners. So that's one. People have too little money in their pocket. The second reason is that we need to look a bit more clearly around inflation. So when Eskom increases their electricity prices by 15%, and the national minimum wage is increased by 4.5%, the old age grant is increased by 1.6%, the child support grant is increased by 2.2%, then we see that actually incomes coming into the household are way below what the expenditure levels are. So workers are, for instance, have less real value in their wages this year than they had a year before. So that's another area. And the third area I would say is that we need greater transparency in our food value system, because we know what the prices are at farm gates, we know what it is at retail level, but we don't know what happens in between the production and manufacturing. So we can't really pinpoint exactly where this increase has come from.
All right. Well, thanks very much for that, Mervyn there. Mervyn Abrahams, and he's from the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group, and they've conducted the survey and found that, yes, food is definitely costing us more, but does it necessarily have to, like it did 8 or 9 months ago, like you said, but not necessarily good enough reasons for that at the moment, except for fuel price increases.